It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Liteforex social trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Hi guys, good afternoon. Very interesting morning, especially from the pound perspective. Looks like market is worried that Boris Johnson wants to go hard way, his hard way. Queen is involved. More about that during our conversation with Michał within the next 10-15 minutes or so. Euro is slowly going lower and we are going to check dollar index and the spread between the German 10-year yields and US 10-year yields. And oil is going higher. Oil is going higher as we discussed this morning. Unfortunately, I thought that we are going to see higher oil prices a little bit later, that we are going to have a chance to join the party. That's what we are going to discuss this afternoon, guys. But before we start, as usual, risk warning, please bear in mind, trading effects on margin carries a high level of risk. May not be suitable for all investors who can sustain a loss of some or all initial investments, so please do not invest the money that you cannot afford to lose. Seek education, gain experience before risking real money. However, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Okay, nothing extraordinary when we are talking about the calendar. So we are not awaiting big announcements, just in relation to the crude oil official EEA. What I have, yeah, someone can argue, yeah, you are short again gold. Yes, I'm short again gold. If you remember yesterday, I've been short gold. I evacuated myself around the opening level, and I'm short dollar yen. It's going to be the time to explain the reason behind pure what I see on the chart. There is a possibility we are going to fall under our own weight. Hopefully, I'm not mistaken in that case. But because of end of the month, because of the flow related to the end of the month, all my exposures are very, very, very low, right? In case I'm right, we shouldn't go through and hit the stops above the second top over here, right? That's what we have here. In case we are going to try to trade this triangle to the upside, I'm not gonna be afraid to try to cut the losses earlier. But anyway, again, because of end of the month flow, my exposure is very, very low. One of the reasons is the simple intraday chart on the dollar yen, as well as the expectations that we generally what we talked about yesterday. It was the retest of the 105.25, 105.15, or even 104.80, right? That is a possible that we might see the higher prices even after the retest of that low level, right? And we are going to get our answers closer to 107, 107.30, right? That's what we are going to watch today, the dollar yen. So two exposures, short dollar yen, short gold. One can argue, Piotr, but They are both opposite. Yeah, we'll see. Euro dollar going lower, and looks like we are about to test the Friday demand, right? That's what we've seen on Friday with this huge rally to the upside. That's related to the it's gonna be better visible on the daily chart. That's related on Friday. We just finished the business when we are talking about the swing low, which was created late July, beginning of August. We are around monthly open, and that looks really negative. And you know, of course, I'm going to watch this 110.60, right? From the long side perspective, depends on the price action. But let me show you something what confirming that we might go even lower, that we might break 110 and open 1.8, right? I've been talking this morning that we are below Monday low, so there was upper shadow rejection. But from my perspective, been waiting for the retest of this yellow line, monthly line, red color, monthly levels 11.15. That was the crucial level we discussed a few times previous week and the beginning of this week, right? So bulls were not able, after the fireworks on Friday, bulls were not able to hold that level towards the Monday close, and since then we are below, and we are slowly going lower. But because of the, again, I have to mention about that, because of the end of the month flow, because that's what going to dominate the market. Some more fireworks possible. But let's switch and let's check the spread and then dollar index. So please stay with me here, guys, and we will switch. Yeah, if you remember, that's the spread between the German and US 10-year yields, right? As you can see here. So that's the spread, and using the lows, two lows, to create the trend line and possible target for this move. Okay, so that's the trend line. It's based on the weekly chart. It's maybe better visible. Anyway, as you can see, after some kind of the consolidation, which was what we've seen on euro dollar as well, right? As you can see here, it's what we've seen here as well. The market decided to go lower. There is still some space, 20%. We are minus 0.5, and the target is something close to minus 0.6, right? So that's one of the reasons we still might see stronger dollar versus euro. That's one of the reasons. I think that finally we are going to reach that target, all right? So that's the first thing first. Second thing is, of course, dollar index. And of course, euro dollar is the most heavy currency pair in that basket, right? So depends on the move on euro dollar, yeah, or one can argue it's opposite, whatever is going on the dollar basket. But anyway, what we discuss on the dollar index, taking into the consideration this daily chart here, right? In case of the previous move to the upside, the big wave here started in the mid of July, right? And the next thing was that after first pullback, we held something in between 97.40 and 97.20, all right? Attempt to rally, some kind of over-under rejection, but we have over-under right now. So in case of the possible equal wave to the upside, dollar index finally may hit 99.20, 99.40, taking into the consideration that it's still around 100 points to the upside. So we might expect at least that the swing low on euro dollar might be tested, if not broken, right? So there is some space to the upside, of course, taking into the consideration Friday price action, we are testing possible supply right now, okay? But hey, come on, there's think that Mr. President Trump is a little bit quiet right now and is rather peaceful, so he's not gonna to weaken the dollar today or tomorrow, maybe closer to the next FOMC. So in that case, yes, that could be at least for now dollar positive. And I think that we might get the final confirmation tomorrow, and at the same time you're more than welcome to join me tomorrow, 2 p.m. CET, 1 p.m. London. I'm going to cover live here on global YouTube channel, Liteforex global YouTube channel. I'm going to cover USGDP live. So that might be the final confirmation that still is not that bad as some trying to tell us, and the dollar will rally, right? We will see. Overall, again, I have to repeat that end of the month flow will dominate, so we might see some unusual moves. So the spread between the German 10-year yields and the US 10-year yields dollar index, overall that suggests that we might see euro a little bit weaker, right? So let's get back to our chart. So I'm going to monitor euro dollar very, very closely. Pound did what we expected as a bears, right? Because there was a failure. We have this arrow. There was a failure at the top of the channel. Market was trying to hit some stops to the upside, strong rejection, and looks like outside day. But I would be very careful. The pound fall a little bit too aggressive, and the reasons we are going to get from Michał within the next few minutes. If you remember, I thought that we are going to react at the bottom of this intraday channel. We didn't. All right. So yeah, let's see what we are going to. It's not the outside day. No, it's my line. Sorry, guys. But anyway, still looks very, very negative. Okay. Because of this failure yesterday, right? But at the end of the day, it might be the case. So yesterday we were waiting for the end of the day. Remember, I've been very, very often was trying to point out, wait for the end of the day, see if there is a failure. So trying to trade from the very beginning of the day, it was positive. But anyway, again, today, we retest the levels below the bottom of that channel. If you remember previous week, we had this line 2180, 2150, and we started to build the lower shadow. In case of the retest of that level, I might even start to think about the longs on the cable, right? We will see what Michał got for us. But instead of going via pound, it might be via USD. It might be that I'm going to go via euro. We will monitor euro pound as well. And you know, everything is connected, and we are approaching possible support on the Nasdaq as well, right? We want to see a retest of the Friday low. But overall, there is a possibility based on the equal moves. We will see stop count to the upside 7,850, 7,900. But we are going to discuss closer to the US Open. Okay, without further, missed that one. Looks like instead of my levels, market decides to react here on that weakness here. So a little bit of the correction of that zone. But anyway, you know, I do prefer to trade US hours. So let's wait and see what's going to happen. possible over-under, so a little bit of the reaction to the downside still might be in place. Anyway, window dressing, end of the month, may support oil here, but we will get back to the oil during the second part of our meeting today. And again, probably Michał, we are going to have something for us. Yesterday, private API was in favor of bullish move. Okay, so cable, Boris Johnson, Queen as well. Looks like everyone is involved. Let's check what Michał got for us. Please stay with me. We are going to get back together within the next few seconds. Hi Michał, good afternoon. How are you doing?
Good afternoon. As always, nothing changes.
So
Nothing changes. At my
right,
side,
I assume.
at least the weather is better. Some good points, and yeah, we'll still have this political debate about the still Brexit fairy tale continues.
Yeah, looks
Yeah,
like Boris Johnson, as President Trump some time ago, looks like Boris Johnson wants to catch the whole attention. Looks like Boris Johnson wants to go hard way with Brexit. He wants to go his own way. Michał, because we are short of time, we have like 12 minutes because of the US Cash Open. So all over to you.
Yeah, as what you said about the Boris Johnson and Donald Trump, I think he's a quick learner from. Yeah, that's all I can say. Very, a lot of similarities in their actions. Okay, so we can say about this about the situation. It's about the suspension of the British Parliament. It should finish work early in September. After a few days, after the deputies leave the summer vacations, and resume the work on October 13th, and 2.5 weeks before the Brexit date. So thus the parliamentarians will not have the opportunity to prevent Britain from leaving the EU without a deal. And of course, John's decision can be considered as a reaction to yesterday's meeting of the opposition parties, right, during which they discussed measures to counter the harsh Brexit, including the creation of law prohibiting the government from implementing a divorce without a deal. And and according to that, the risk of exit without a deal is increasing, which of course put the pressure on the pound and uncertainty on the investors. And it's about the Queen. We can say only that of course the speech after the summer vacation for the Queen was postponed, and of course it was another problem for the parliamentarians, because after this Queen's speech, the parliament needs to have another 5 days to discuss it. What Queen is expecting from the government. So, but according to this whole situation, we were having a lot of signals before that he wants to. He's saying that he doesn't want to go without a deal, but his actions were all about preparing for the no deal Brexit, right? And the talks with the Irish from the Irish side of the government to make a coalition to have them on their side, and the talks with the US about the New Deal, and I think I think they just don't like him don't like him like the President Trump because of his actions, the way he does it. But we must say that he made a lot more in those couple of weeks than Premier May did in months, right?
So in that case, what about the warmer words from Merkel, and if it's matter, if it still matter?
I
or
think,
is a weakness?
I think maybe we will have this. You know, the media are trying to push this far more than it is already. Like to pressure the markets and spread the uncertainty, to push the pound lower. But I think it's like the last case that they need to talk about is this backstop border, right?
Yeah,
law in the Ireland. So I think it's the only thing that stopped them, and also it's the only thing that stops Britain and United States to make a new deal. That's what U.S. officials said, that it is the only reason. They just didn't realize how important this is, and it's just the one thing that distance them from making a trade deal, right? So I think it's just a very, very short term thing.
Would you agree that the latest warmer words from Merkel, right? Would you agree that the comments from the Merkel was treated by Johnson as a weakness, as we discussed previously, that the EU has plenty of internal problems, so maybe he's trying to play with the Merkel the way that, okay, maybe I can get something more out of the deal, because even yesterday or day before we got this information that there might be possibility of the reopen the current agreement.
Yes, of course, and I think that is why the first actions we saw after Boris Johnson was elected was that he was mostly caring about and took the action to the actions to to prepare the country for the no-deal Brexit, and then he waited with time we had the bad data about the German economy. We had this Trump tweets about possibility of the new tariffs, and I think that lowered the position, the negotiation position of the EU, that it will be very, very hard to deal with the no-deal Brexit also. So and it will be better for everyone to make that deal, right? So I think he just the importance of the action he took first was very good, and he waited patiently, do what he has to do to either way prepare the country, and after a couple of weeks we see that was worth it.
Smart guy.
Yeah.
Okay, Michał, because we are approaching US Cash Open, thank you very much, but I know that we are going to have one more connection ahead of the EEA data later today, right?
Right now. Yes, that's right.
All right, thank you very much in that case, and see you again in the next 1 hour, less than 1 hour.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Thank you, and goodbye.
Later. Bye.
Okay, guys. So we have 5 minutes. 5 minutes to US cash open. Let's try to check few pound charts because it looks like the volatility on the pound is back. What is important from the pound traders perspective right now, the truth is what we do, right? And for example, here on this intraday chart on the cable, if you see the move, the latest move to the downside here, right, from where we started to move to the upside, looks like we have right now similar in size the wave. I'm talking just about what happened today, right? So similar in size move. So if we want to go that way, so probably, and that's the logical. It's we cannot say it's not the logical, but I like the idea because of the GDP tomorrow. We might see some kind of the consolidation on the pound versus US dollar on the cable, something like this, right? So maybe as you can see, after the fall here, we have a bounce. Looks like we have the bounce here as well, limited by this bottom of that channel. So what we might see for the next couple of hours towards GDP tomorrow, we might see this type of the consolidation on the cable, right? So yeah, I truly believe that could be the case here, and let's see if it's going to go that way. Very similar price action on the euro pound, meaning that the stop count we've seen ahead of this huge sell-off on the euro pound, right? The stop count here on the 8th, 9th of August. Right now, the spike to the upside, same story, same size, right? Let's see what happened then. Taking into the consideration what we discussed on the euro dollar, it might be the case that euro pound might be under pressure to the downside, meaning that overall euro might be under pressure from dollar, from British pound, for example, right? So for now, as I mentioned before, I might decide to go pound long, but not via dollar, but via euro, and I'm going to watch very carefully the price action in case of the retest of 91. Even more, we discussed this 90, 50, 91 earlier today, right? So yeah, volatility on pound is back. The only thing here is pound yen. To be honest with you, I've been thinking that 129.20 is gonna work as a support. Been broken, trying to hold this level for now, but maybe simply we are going to see something similar to what already happened here, and we might retest much lower levels towards 28.20. Okay, so in that case, right now we are in the middle of that range on the pound yen. Okay, 1 minute left, so let's switch to Nasdaq. Let's have a look what we have, where we are. There, what I'm going to watch first is the close on Friday, right? That's the first thing. Then the Friday low. All right, that's the second thing. To the upside, looks like market may want to eventually try to create swing high, but overall, what we already discussed a few times, I do expect some higher levels and to finish the business, unfinish the business around 7,850 based on this over under. So let's switch to the lower time frame and let's prepare ourselves for the entry. As usual, we are going to monitor first 5 minute trading range. And the market is open already. So that's the cash open. That's the high for now. And that's the low for now. Whoa, ho, ho, through the roof. That may not help my dollar yen short position, but it might be useful for short gold, right? Here on the gold would be good to see the move back below weekly open blue dotted line. Actually, the intraday trend line been broken. Okay, we made the new low in the cash market. Okay. Oh. So now looks better in terms of the first 5 minutes volatility, over 30 points. Don't forget, we still have the yellow zone as a possible demand, so that's what market may want to test, looking for stops. This Monday cash market, and here the bottom 7,440. We'll see. Don't forget that we have the option expiration at the top of the hour as well. Let me check what we have in this last day. Remember, guys, T+2. So some guys may want to finish their business, make the settlement in August. So if that's the case, and when we are talking about the spot, they have to do that stuff today. So what we have, taking into the consideration what we are trading on euro dollar, we are trading 110.85, 111, we have 2 billion. So that might work within the next 25 minutes. 111 might eventually work as a magnet. So we might see eventually market trying to get back towards 111. As you can see, what we have right now, this lower shadow, that's probably currency options guys, market activity right now. When we are talking about the dollar yen 105.70, we have 105.81 billion, right? 105.81 billion. So let's switch to dollar yen. So looks like this my entry level might work as a magnet. So hopefully we are not going to spike much higher, right? So euro dollar 111, dollar yen 105.70, 105.80. All right, so what do we have? Is it going to be enough? Looks like we are testing this already. But if we are going to double that range, it's quite wide, so the one move to the downside might be enough. What we are going to get? We are going to get 50% of that yellow range. So we are talking about the levels close to 7,470 for now. So in the middle of this, both two green lines. So either we might just to hit some stops below the low of the first 5-minute trading range, and we might see the attempt to turn around. I wouldn't say we hit the bottom yet. Just wait and see more price action here. So on the gold, there is a retest of this broken trend line, trying to create upper shadow. Hopefully that's going to hold. In case of the break above this trend line, I may run away from the gold. From my short, and I might think again a little bit later. Pound is recovering, so it might be the recovery similar to what we've seen here, right? So just be careful, okay? That's why the top of that range I moved a bit in case we want to do the same scenario, right? If it's not gonna work that way, we will make the adjustment, we'll update the chart, right? I already explained my decision behind the short dollar yen, so I'm going to remove this scenario, just just to have a clean view on the chart. Gap down. Oh, we might have something. I will try to figure it out what it is. We have some comments from the President Trump. On the President Trump Twitter account, would be very hard for Jeremy Corbyn, the leader of the Britain's Labour Party, to signal no confidence vote against new Prime Minister Boris Johnson, especially in light of the fact that Boris is exactly what the UK has been looking for, and I will prove it to be a great one. Love UK. Wow, Mr. President. Anyway, looking for something. It might be the case of the latest, I don't know, there are some national general election matchup, some political pulse, and looks like Trump is constantly losing to Biden, to Sanders, to Warren, to Harris. Wow, no. Dear Mr. President, time to do something. Google, latest company to abandon China, shifts smartphone production to Vietnam. Okay. That could be the reason of the spike down. I'm not sure if the algo, looks like algo are trading their own way. Depends how they were set up ahead of the market open. So trying to hold this, that's what I mentioned before, that the first attempt to move lower, it wasn't the low. But this one might be. I'm not saying it is. It has to be done, something more has to be done here. But in case of the holding the first attempt, we might see retest of the cash open. We'll monitor. Guys, time for the first break. I'm gonna mute my microphone. Mineral water, tea, coffee, whatever you need, non-alcoholic drinks only. Charts are gonna be visible and I'll be back around the top of the hour. Enjoy the break, guys.
It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Liteforex social trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Welcome back, guys. Another part of our meeting today. Looks like just quick update to what has been done over the time of the break. I cut around the entry. I cut the dollar yen. I didn't like the price action, especially when I saw what is going on after the stop count on the Nasdaq here. So congratulations to all of us. We correctly read that the first bottom wasn't bottom, but then the next one, especially after the break through this line. So we are above the cash open right now. The thing is that, you know, a little bit more has to be done. So now, to be honest with you, I've been thinking that we are going to hit the half of that zone, right? But if you were watching carefully morning meeting when we are covering pre-London Open live, I've mentioned here on Nasdaq that some guys are gonna be trapped because they are going to try to trade this something similar to the head and shoulders, right? That's what I've been trying to explain, and I've said that it's not gonna work that way. They are gonna be trapped. Looks like they might be trapped. We will see. Now, I would like to see some kind of the pullback, retest, cash open, maybe even a little bit lower ahead of the higher levels, right? So it's tricky. End of the month flow will dominate. Some window dressing is still possible. Some squeeze a little bit higher is possible, right? But I'm not gonna look for, I don't know, to hit the jackpot. I'm just gonna to check where we are, right? And 7,690, 7,710, that might be the target, the yellow zone over here. That might be also the third touch of this rising trend line, okay? So in case of some kind of the positive action on the retest of the cash open, maybe a little bit lower, I may try to think about the possibility to join the party to the upside, where I do know where's my final target, right? That also, if you noticed, I've checked, it might be something around triple of the first 5-minute trading range. That's max. Now also during the break, before we had a break, there was a retest of this broken trend line. Then I just put the note that it looks good, but still to looks great, we need to break the weekly open, blue dotted line, as well as the Tokyo low, and we have to close and hold below these levels, right? It looks better, but it's not the top of what I'm expecting, right? Then of course move below 1525, and I might start to think of maybe adding, and my target is gonna be around, first target 1540, 1495. Eventually we should see something closer to 1460 and 1440, right? But as of now, I'm gonna be happy to see break of weekly open, break of today's Tokyo low. I'm going to monitor closely the latest bottom, the price action over here, right around 1525. That's where I wanna see breakdown on the daily close below, because that would be the lowest close of this week, and that would add into the pressure some more profit taking, some long squeeze, if we can say that way, right? So that's what I'm gonna to look for. So looks like some fireworks going on gold, some fireworks going on Nasdaq. We might have some fireworks on oil. That's what we are going to discuss within the next few minutes with Michał as well, ahead of the EEA. Euro dollar. There is still, we discussed during the previous part that because of spread of the German 10-year yields and US, there is a chance to go lower. Dollar index suggests is low. Simply is, I don't have entry point right now, right, on euro dollar here. Cable, it's all about the Brexit. We have a problem to hold above Monday low as of now. And as you can see, if you remember what we were discussing, there is an intraday channel, right, visible on the chart. We broke through and we retesting from the low, the bottom of that channel. Didn't quite work well, so retest of today's low might be in place. And the dollar yen, it looks like I might be ready to switch to long. If you remember what we were discussing, I've been waiting for the Friday low and maybe weekly open, right? But yesterday we discussed that maybe from the intraday perspective, we already had the retest of this 25.15 to the left, as you can see here. And it was retested. It was retested already here. So yesterday I've mentioned that might be that simply they don't want to go lower. And I might want to wait and never get what I'm waiting for. So I've been short. I cut the short because of the price action I didn't like. They're trying to break. If they are gonna to hit the stops, I've mentioned before the level where my stop was, and I see the pullback, I might try to join the party to the upside. It's short term, everything is short term. Some kind of the confirmations we got the chance to get tomorrow around the GDP, and if the GDP confirm the current market sentiment, we might see some fireworks as well tomorrow. So yeah, that's how I see the things here as well. No big pullback, just the retest of the cash open on Nasdaq and trying to squeeze more. Not good, because we discussed few things. Looks like they are working well, and I'm just sitting only gold, but it's still, I'm fine here as long as we will try to push lower. There is no reason to try to chase the market. There's plenty of opportunities every day. Oh, I'm sorry, maybe yesterday there wasn't, right? Sometimes there are days like yesterday, end of the summer lullaby, slow market, but looks like today is a little bit better. More action is going. Yeah, more action. So going back to the dollar yen for a second, I would like to see higher levels, pullback, and maybe lower shadow, shy below this most recent, I'm talking about today and yesterday low, right? So, you know, more manipulation. Attempt to go higher and then trying to make the equal move based on what we have here. How high can we go? Yeah, we can even retest the Monday high, maybe some kind of the rejection, but I want to see the lower shadow. So you know, it might be a little bit, yeah, a little bit lower, right? I want to see the lower shadow, and that would do for me. Trying to retest. Let me show you what I'm thinking about. I'm talking here, right? This latest weakness. So the combination of Friday close, Monday open. Of course, I'm gonna to work here. So it's a little bit higher than 25, what I've been waiting for. I might consider something like in between 60 and 50. We'll see, we'll see. Okay, maybe we are going to try to trade this scenario. So that was the move to the downside today. Then we went higher, so that would be the V formation we have here, and that would then there was a 50% or 60% of the pullback, so that would be the retest. That would be the retest of the cash open and stop count below. So let's have a look if we have some kind of the visible demand there. Yeah, we have right under the cash open, and then again, but this one was tested to the left. Let me remove this size over here. Let me remove this break here. So maybe the stop, retest of the cash open, and then continuation to the upside based on this particular what we've seen here. So one leg pullback and one more. So if that would be the case, and we would get pullback towards the cash open, and we would like to make the same distance, so we would look for, first thing, we would look for stops above today's high, pre-market high. That's logical. Market may want to look for liquidity. So probably if that's going to happen, then I might decide to cut half, because the final target, I think we are going to see higher over the course of the end of the month flow. That's how I see right now. It might change, guys. It might easily change. Pound is fighting around the Monday low. There is some space based on what we discussed earlier. But don't forget where we are from higher time frame, right? Top of the channel. So the aggressive of that move is not how aggressive to the downside that move was. It's not a surprise for me. But to be honest with you, if we are going to be able to close around the yesterday open, tomorrow we might see another fireworks and attempt to go higher. Anyway, we are going higher here. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. Yeah, I've been thinking that we are gonna to go that way, so that we are going to see a little bit lower levels. We are also discussing on this Riley base higher, but looks like market didn't want to let us in on oil. So yeah, you know me, I'm not gonna chase that market. I'm not gonna chase that market. we might look for some stops higher. But in that case, good idea is to wait and see what is going to happen after EEA. All right, as agreed with Michał, we are going to connect one more time and we are going to discuss oil ahead of the EEA. So please bear with me, we are going to get back together within the next few seconds. Hi Michał, hi again.
Hi again, hello.
Hopefully everything was fine over the last 45 minutes, so you are still okay, right? You are doing well.
Yeah, I'm still okay. I'm still okay.
Okay, cool. Listen, we are going to discuss, or we are going to try to share a few information, what we think about the oil ahead of the EEA release. We have like 12 minutes. I think it's enough. So for now, all over to you.
Thanks. I want to spread it in two parts very quickly about this. Maybe I can say short term and the recent situation that we saw the powerful support for the instrument was provided on Tuesday after the API weekly crude oil stock for the indicator fell for 11 million barrels after a decrease of the 3.5 million barrels over the past period. And today we await this EIA crude oil inventories, and that was helping the bulls, right?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Could you put the yesterday API to the chat, pointing that it's a yesterday number that we are awaiting today's number? Could you?
I'm sorry, I don't have that open.
You don't have it
I just
handy.
have,
sorry. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I just have written it by hand. I don't have the window
I'm sorry.
already open. Sorry, but I can say
or after our conversation, just to have a comparison ahead of the EA.
Maybe
Because I don't have handy as well.
Like that. Maybe it will be okay. I don't know if you see that. If you see this on the chat already.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I will. Later we will paste the data. And the second thing I want to talk about is the long-term perspective, because we have received the information that the new world order will be settled. The U.S. Are building the pipeline from the Texas to the Gulf Coast, and they will. The Citigroup analysts are prognosing that the U.S. will be the biggest oil exporter in the world. They are all the time they were having the problem with the transport of the oil from the Texas, and right now it's they are building this new pipeline, and it will at least about 1 million barrel the producing and export will grow in the United States at least for the next 8 months. So we will see that the oil market is oversupplied right now. The OPEC has cut the producing. Oil producing, and we see. I think it's another like the Donald Trump plan, and I don't know if another market where the U.S. gonna lead again. We see that the problem is that we see that the OPEC is trying to cooperate with the supply and demand and stable the prices, right? But the upcoming recession, the trade wars. Yes, but let me finish. It is of course. I think this this recent growth, manipulation, but from the fundamental perspective, we see that the plan is, I think the plan is that the America has a lower cost of producing the oil, at least something around 20 or 30% compared to Arab Emirates, for example, right? And I think it's also the thing that they want to use the recession where the demand will be much lower, and they will be able to hold on the lower prices and export their oil all over the world to Asia, Europe, and almost every corner, every continent of the world. So plans we see very ambitious. I don't want to go by the numbers, but it's too much data for this short conversation. But in the next 3 years, we will see that the producing and export from the US will grow at least 1 million barrel a day each year. So at the recent situation, we see that OPEC is struggling. I read that they are losing for the past couple of years each year 1% of the market, and I think also the situation with the Iran, right, that they are more likely to go for the negotiations and start the talks, right, is also the plan to weaken the position of the OPEC.
Yeah, and you know what? I think we can agree because looks like more or less people around, analysts are saying that we might. I'm not saying we are going to get it, but we might have some kind of the recession. And we see the lower economic growth over the world. So for sure, in that case, if really it's going to happen, that it's gonna be some kind of a little bit of the recession, some small crisis, I don't think we are gonna to see rising oil prices. So OPEC might be in a big trouble.
That's
and
right.
Then I'm not gonna be surprised if the President Trump will try to put the pressure on OPEC, similar to what he's doing with China and others.
Yeah, that's right. And as for China, we might be the growing influence from the China side. We could be a little bit worried because they are like the China government are communist, but right now from the US. Since World War II, everything was okay, right? But as we see that the actions that Trump is making, and the way that he's making, I think at least a little bit we can be worried about that. But we see that they are very ambitious in the plans. So short term, I think we will have also the good data, and the oil will one more time be up, but the price will be up on the wave of those previous API inventories, and but in the long term, I think we should expect the lowering of the prices, because what is the manufacturing is the biggest consumer of the oil, right? So we see how it is going in Germany. The trade war is putting pressure, we can say, slightly.
I agree with you 100%.
On China manufacturing, which is I think it's one of the biggest manufacturer in the world. So it's unavoidable to see the lower prices of the oil. Either the US would build this pipeline or not. But I think this pipeline build could only speed it up, the pressure on oil price.
And I would like to summarize here that we have to slow down more to have the speed up later on. Let's have a look. Let's have a look what we have on the chart. We were discussing oil chart. Let's have a look short-term perspective because of, especially because of what happened yesterday. The strong close, the very big candle, very big range day to the upside, close above the Monday high, close above the Friday high. Very positive data supports. The data supports oil buyers right now. So I do expect eventually equal in size, wave equal in size to what we've seen at the beginning of August, and in that case, if that's the case, 59, 50, 60 might be the target. It's logical level because we might have from the chart perspective some kind of the over under, so we see where the supply is. So yeah, because the sellers failed last 2 days, they may want to regroup and 59, 50, 60, and that might be nice selling level from the medium and long-term perspective. So short-term looks like we might see higher levels, and we should see theoretically higher levels. But then the medium and long-term chart, this is mine, and that's I know that talking about 30 on oil today, it's like it might sound like a joke, but that's how I see the oil price. In the near future. All right, Michał, thank you very much. We have like 3 minutes.
Thank you.
We have 3 minutes. Thank you very much for your inputs. We are going
Thank
to
you for having
watch
me.
the chart from the intraday perspective. Wish you great rest of the New York session and probably see you tomorrow. We have USGDP.
In the morning, I would be available, but later
Okay.
I can promise. But we will stay in touch, right?
All
Yeah.
right, cool. Again,
Okay.
thank you very
Thank
much.
you for having me again. And
Thank you.
yeah, see you next time. Bye.
Thank you. Take care. Goodbye.
It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Liteforex social trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
All right, guys, so let's have a look what we have. Of course, going back for a second to my long-term view, of course it might change over the course of the time, but we will see. That's how I see the things right now. So I do believe we might see much higher levels from the short-term perspective towards 59, 50, 60, right? And that's for now where I'm going to look for sell from the medium and long-term perspective. Now, short-term, I'm looking to buy some kind of the dips if we are going to get them. We were discussing possible dips this morning. They didn't materialize. So looks like the update is needed here. We are testing currently we are testing the supply, as you can see the yellow range over here. There are previous hour we hit that level, upper shadow. We are trying to create upper shadow. Let's have a look and check if EA will deliver and if they bulls will push straight higher. Hopefully we can get some dip to try to be involved. One of the dip might be somewhere here, this breakout candle. Yeah, let's have a look. We have like 5 seconds. Spike higher, stops were taken out for sure. Weekly EA oil inventories. Woo! 4 times bigger draw than what market was expecting. There you go. So looks like we might see higher levels without the looking back. We will see if that supports indices. Just a bit. Not quiet yet on the Nasdaq. We didn't hit the stops from this latest wave, right? We might, based on this intraday chart, we might to trade out this head and shoulder, and we might retest the bottom of the first 5-minute trading range. So watching carefully here. Not sure if you are going to get there, but 56 looks like intraday support, possible intraday demand. $0.50 lower from now. So let's try to summarize what we have. For me personally, because it might be easier for one of you guys, right? But for me, it's not that easy. I can't find a good entry to try to short the euro dollar, at least for now. So nothing to be done, at least for now here. Cable, looking for higher levels, looking for 2250. That would represent similar story to what we've seen here, to try to short this one, right? To try to short pound. On the other hand, if we are going to go straight down from here, I might look the old demand, which almost been tested on this spike to the downside, to try to take the advantage of the attempt to go higher, right? So that's first thing first. Cannot rule it out that the distance, that's the Monday range, right? Cannot be ruled out that we might see levels closer to 2134, right? So not exactly 2150, but that's what we have here. And it's with us for quite some time. That's this particular demand, right? So in that case, I delete 35. So something between 2150, 2135, that's where we might see some kind of demand. Supply watching closer to 2250, 2265 weekly open. Dollar yen, maybe they doing what I'm expecting. I do expect, you know, I cut my short around the entry. There is an attempt to go higher because of the, some kind of the positive sentiment. You know, we discussed yesterday that me personally, I like 105.25.15 to try to go long, but looks like they don't want to break this 65, right? So what I would like to see, attempt to break the 65, drawing the lower shadow, going back above, that would be probably the long entry here. In case of the short, well, I think that we may want to wait as a bears. We may want to wait at least till tomorrow, right? Till US GDP. Just a reminder, we are going to cover US GDP live, so you are more than welcome to join me 2 p.m. CET, 1 p.m. London tomorrow, right? So for now, we are 50% of that range Friday, Monday. And it looks like market wants to go a little bit higher here. Watching closely. The same with pound yen. Yesterday we were talking maybe 129.20, right? But the spike lower, so looks like it's maybe good idea to try to rethink that idea and taking this whole picture we see right now as a consolidation. So in that case, going to regroup myself and looking to buy 28.40, 28.20. We will see. That could be the case, especially if the dollar, if the pound dollar, we want to retest 21.50, 21.35. Euro pound, talking about the possibility of going short euro. So maybe I can't find the right place on euro dollar. Maybe I'm gonna be more lucky on the euro pound. So for now, watching 91. If that's not gonna be the case, then again today's high and maybe stop hunting and rejection, right? So either 91 or 91.35, something like this. Holding gold short again, but I wanna see at some point around the Europe close, so within the next 1 hour or so, maybe a little bit long, I wanna see the gold below the weekly open, right? Otherwise, probably I'm going to close it ahead of the Tokyo, and I will try to think again tomorrow. Oil. Bulls are supported by the data, stop hunt to the upside. So, you know, that's what we discussed. If you remember, in June, we held educational webinars, and I've been trying to explain many different things, right? For example, that we might change a temporary or overall direction by stop hunt. That's what we had here on oil. So there is a little bit of the pullback, and as long as we are not gonna, probably, as long as we are not gonna hit any kind of the stops to the downside, it might be something like this, right? Yeah, so we are trying to break the very short and speed trend line, right? Hitting the stops. That would be the case, right? Some kind of the consolidation and then attempt to go higher. The Nasdaq, ooh, again without me here. So looking for some stops, either 7,535 stops below rejection, lower shadow, join the party, but looks like they wanna have cup and handle here, or retest bottom of the first 5-minute trading range on the cash market. So either way, I do expect at least stop hunt to the upside when we are talking about pre-market high, today's pre-market high, but the final target's gonna be something closer to 7,608-ish. More or less. So plenty of things compared to yesterday, plenty of things going on. Might be good if you are not feel comfortable to watch all these instruments. It might be good to focus on one or two, and that's it, right? Wherever you feel comfortable. If you feel better FX, then watch pound, watch yen. If you feel more comfortable with indices, Nasdaq, and etc., right? Don't try to catch all of this, because then it might be, you know, a little bit of the mess when you have at some point exposure at 8-10 instruments and you have to actively monitor all of them. Or maybe simply I'm already too old. That's why how it looks for me. Guys, it was my pleasure to be with you. Here we have discussed scenarios. So watch, execute on demo, paper trading, test it. If you feel comfortable, very low exposure on the real because of the end of the month flow. So we don't know who is going to do what. Maybe some big guys want to finish some business and make the settlement in August. You know, unusual market moves are still possible. But when talking about the unusual market moves, we have this for quite some time already. Yeah, big manipulation, stuff like this. Anyway, guys, my pleasure. Twice tomorrow, 8 a.m. CET, 7 a.m. London, pre-London Open, only here, Liteforex, global YouTube channel, and then again 2 p.m. CET, 1 p.m. London. We are going to cover USGDP live. Guys, don't be trapped, take care, and see you again tomorrow. Goodbye.